Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
What is going on, everybody? It's finals day here at DreamHack Summer 2018. We have just 4 teams remaining now. 2 from Denmark, 1 from the CIS region, and another that is an international roster. We are still coming to you live from the Elmia Convention Center in Jönköping, Sweden, and that is the trophy on screen that our final 4 teams are all looking to raise their heads by the end of the day. My name is Parla and I am your desk host for the duration of this event, and I'd like to start things off by giving a big shout out to Astro, Corsair, Monster Energy and Hacks. I'm also joined by Pimp and Dust. It's been a pleasure to have you guys so far, and I'm very excited for this final day.
Me too, Paula. It's been super awesome. I think we had 2 great days of Counter-Strike. We had some upsets. We had some favorites struggling a little bit.
Right?
Some big upsets. So in general, just a lot of great Counter-Strike, and it's usually the way it is at this DreamHack Open. You know, there's a lot of skilled teams, a lot of underdogs, if you may say, but usually a few of them always shows up and give us a good fight.
Dust, at this point, 3 days into your trip to Sweden, are you happy with your experience so far?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great. And I think it's so fun that we not only get to see a great semifinal that means a lot for this tournament, but we also get the Battle of Denmark, basically. OpTic versus North, both wanting to prove that they're right under Astralis as the second best team, which usually if you're the second best team in Denmark, you're probably also one of the best teams in the world. So that's going to be like that added storyline that's greater than this tournament. It goes even further than that.
Indeed. Now let's take a look at a recap of day 2, just in case you guys need a catch-up.
Play, and Mears already going to lose his face. Bo moves in, and the CZ reigns supreme. 3 kills, and a Dread as well. Mertz is left alone, tasked with dealing with all 4 players of AGO, and this split's going to be so well timed. PHR is going to have a great angle to take down Mertz if he just keeps walking by, but the rotation is in, and Kierby has his back turned. Mertz swivels, and he finds 2 with 1 shot.
Let's see if PHR can hold his own. He will kick it off with 2 and 3. He knows to go, and so does Snatchy. This is Mertz's opening shot.
How the hell? Oh my god.
The flank coming in from Happy, surely this is going to win the round for episode.
Surely, right? There we go. Picks up 2 kills. A bit of ammo for the 3rd.
Hey.
Oh, he's going for some style on this one, too. Hoppus is having fun now. 360 flip around and the triple shot on the Glock, taking the last kill.
He may clear this box. Oh my goodness, Snatchy, no.
Valdi's posted on the same angle the entire round, and they both turn, but Snatchy misses, and it's Valdi to find 4 and 15 for North. Yes.
I mean...
Big shout out to our editing team. That video was fire. I can feel the emotions from yesterday, and they've definitely carried over to today. We've already seen some of the North players walking around, and that's the match that we're starting off with today. OpTic versus North, and that's our playoff bracket. It's going to be later in the day, Gambit versus Imperial. Let's start zoning in on this first matchup. A Danish derby. It would only be correct if I firstly threw it over to Jacob, our local Dane.
It's going to be such a fun matchup, Pala. There's so much history involved with these 2 lineups. There's so much tensions going on between these 2 lineups. There's currently a lack of form within North, you know, doing them not playing the best game right now, whereas OpTic are a fairly new team. Didn't do too well at Austin, but all right. And now they're here, you know, looking into winning the tournament. I think we have 2 of the main favorites in this side of the bracket. I think the winner of this game is having a good chance of going all the way in the final as well. So this game is going to be interesting, Pala, to say the least.
Dust?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, it's like the history of MSL versus Snappy as 2 tacticians playing chess against each other. It goes back to late 2016 when Snappy got the better of MSL at that Powerland, back when it was Dignitas, and they rose up. Like, Heroic made a name for themselves at that tournament. Later on, though, MSL kind of got his revenge with Dignitas, and Snappy was never able to beat him again, basically in a big LAN series. And now it's like, you know, it's going to come together again, but with Snappy probably having a more powerful lineup. And it's also that added factor that Valdo was a big part of the old heroic days, and now he's going up against his former in-game leader today. So again, I think as you'll hear about later, there's probably going to be a lot of mind games going on in this series.
Before we go a bit deeper into the storylines that are shared between these two teams, let's start talking about maps, because that veto is officially starting very soon. Pimp, from what we've seen so far, do you have a read on what we might expect?
The fun thing about this matchup is that it's two teams that like to play the same map. They share somewhat of the same map pool, which is going to be interesting in this one. I think Nuke is going to be a big question mark, because both North and OpTic is fairly comfortable on Nuke, so probably neither of them wants to remove that. Obviously, North is not going to play Cash, but neither wants OpTic to do that.
No,
so
they don't.
It's sort of like a play of chicken, where either team has to remove one of the other guys' weak map, and in that case, they're going to win it.
Either both teams float Cash later, or, you know, someone like OpTic, who I think at first ban will probably ban something like Overpass and then leave North the option, hey, you got to ban Cash, you don't play it. Or, like I said, maybe both teams will take a dice roll here and say, neither one of us want to play it, so we'll just leave it till later, and then we'll make sure we get our primary picks in. So I would actually expect OpTic to perhaps stray away from banning Cash and actually ban Overpass instead. And then for North, I mean, I could see them try to get rid of maybe like Train or something like that, just because normally they would both ban Cash, but I think it's going to be different in this situation.
I think North is one of those teams that...
Yep.
And there we go.
No Cash ban
our
first.
first bans have come in, Nuke and Dust 2 for North and OpTic, respectively.
And that's a sign of respect right there from North, getting rid of Nuke, because North is fairly comfortable playing Nuke, but they know OpTic is a strong Nuke team. Inferno going in the way of North and Mirage going the way of OpTic, that seems like a fairly competent deal for both teams. You know, both teams like to play these two maps, and both teams are fairly competitive on the map, so that's fine. Whereas for the third map, Train would probably be a great guess for that one. I think both teams could feel comfortable. Cash has to go out here from OpTic, and it does Overpass away from North, and we got Train as the third map. This is a very competitive map pool, and I'm glad and very happy to see.
Range of maps as well.
Good range of maps.
Starting on Inferno, what do you think about that? It's often seen as a decider map, something that is very exciting given the way the CT and T sides play out so differently, and starting off on it, can that change the momentum of the entire series?
Wouldn't necessarily change the momentum. It is one map at a time, especially in a best of 3 series. It's not like momentum carry from the first one to the second map as well. So Inferno is one of those maps where you alert to it. You know, the two tacticians, MSL and Snappy, go head to head. It's all about grenade usage. You see Astralis these days being one of the best teams in the world in Inferno, and that's due to the grenade usage. They're so good at utilizing the grenades, the molotovs, the flashbangs, and if you do that properly, then you already are 50% ahead of your opponent from the
One
start.
thing that strikes me as odd is the final comment about that pick ban. I'm really surprised that North decided to ban Overpass instead of Train. Like, I think that North Overpass is far superior to their Train. I think that would have been a better decider map for them, knowing that OpTic was going to have to ban out Cash because neither team wanted to play it. I think maybe North had a miss there on the decider map. I think Overpass would have been much better for them. Like, OpTic's never really even played Overpass with this 5 yet, and like I said, I think North's results in Overpass are far better than their Train's results. Especially at this tournament. They've already lost Train twice at this tournament, and then you left it to the third map. I think that's a mistake.
All right, thank you very much, Jacob and Dust, for now. I think we should move forward to hear from the players themselves. We had a chance to sit down with Valda and Snappy and hear from their own words exactly how they've reached the semi-finals.
Two of the players can force by AK without armor. What, AZ?
3, now 4 from AZ as he just completely destroys the offensive, and Mertz quickly gets the victory.
Yeah, it was definitely a very tough group stage. I think before the event, we definitely expected to come out on top, but the first best of 1 against Imperial, we just didn't hit our level at all. Like, none of us was playing good individually, and I don't know, we were just always one step behind, and yeah, we came back with a much better game plan and much more prepared here for the second day, so I'm happy we qualified for playoffs.
He doesn't know that this push coming through can instantly save the round for OpTic, and Snappy just doesn't make any face. They tap the bomb, they won't stick it. CajunB makes his noise, but he makes the noise to 2 kills.
In general, I don't think we were ever in danger of losing any of the matches, and I think this is really what we needed to prove, because we had a terrible run in Austin. So I think we needed the boost of morale and to show that we can actually play pretty good.
It's gonna be a bit weird game, I think. Probably a lot of mind games, and also it's a domestic matchup, so anything can happen. I don't know. There's just much more at stake, and obviously there's some like some honor and some banter that's probably gonna go on. And I don't know. You just want to be the better team, so we're gonna give it our all tomorrow.
We feel confident going into the semi-final. I think we can beat any team if we're on our A game. And I think that every team at this tournament fear us because they know that our A game is the highest at the tournament.
Snappy with some very choice words there, saying that everybody at the tournament fears them and that they have the highest skill level. But Pimp and Dust, do you think North fear them? I very much doubt that they're going to go into this matchup with their heads down.
They should be fearing them. I think it's a fair thing to say from Snappy that they have the highest peak in terms of skill ceiling. When you look at the players pound for pound, I think OpTic has sort of assembled the best thing they could assemble in regards of individual skill. You know, sort of being the second best Danish team. Obviously, as you look towards Astralis, there's a few players up there that could do better than OpTic guys. But overall, I just think OpTic has a very dangerous lineup. And when you look at the North guys, it's sort of like a more building stone lineup. It's more like a talent lineup, whereas Mertz is still not up there yet. You know, he's not the counterpart to Yugi yet. He maybe will be there in the future, but for now he's still in the learning ground. So North are definitely having a big task right here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about North is like for the last year and a half under the North brand, it's been mostly downs rather than ups. You know, they had a couple of cool performances early last year, like at Vegas and things like that, but really a lot of their big results were against weaker teams. You know, they never really beat teams above them, never punched above their weight. They had some disappointing results, like Copenhagen games or, you know, the last EPL finals they played in. But what we have seen recently over the last, I'd say, 3 months is you have seen the tournament results get a little bit better for them, and you have seen some of the key players that we were pointing out as being weak links for the team start to step up a little bit. Like AZ in particular has been really solid for them this tournament and had a couple of good tournaments before this, and Mertz seems to be playing a little bit better as well. And I will say this about North going into this matchup is I think that the one advantage they can leverage, because I don't think it's individual talent, I think they're going to lose a lot of those matchups. I think that they have a little bit of a deeper level of tactics. They have more structure to them. They're more drilled. They've practiced more together. They've had more time as a team. And usually MSL, it can get good reads on teams, like especially if it's a team that you can kind of know their tendencies and trends, which I think MSL will know at least Snappy's tendencies as an in-game leader from his heroic days that he can kind of go off of. So I think those are the key things they have to leverage in this match to win, is that strategy and that counter reading.
Moving over, let's talk about the key points for OpTic Gaming. Cajun B, Yugi, Snappy, Config, and Gade. This is a team of Danish players who, some of them have experience playing with each other before. For others, it's the first time they've kind of collected. It's a mixture of old Astralis, old North, and old Heroic. Also, North Academy.
Also North Academy, and I think the guy to your right, the Gate is definitely going to be one of the guys you want to look towards, because he's having his counterpart in terms of Valde from North, and Valde is by far, I would say, the best Danish support player there is right now. Obviously, Siblings is in a class for himself, but when you look towards the second best, Valde definitely takes that one. He's just an anchor, you know, he's just rock solid, whereas Gate is supposed to be the same thing for OpTic in some of the maps, whereas I don't think he has the level yet. He's still young, he's still not there yet. I think it's the same case with him as it is with Mertz from North. You know, they're still in the learning phase, and they need to get better at each their respective roles, and I think that could be one of the outliers where North is actually winning out. You alluded to it before, Dust. Yes, I do think North is having a better tactician in terms of MSL, but I do think that individual skill from a guy like this one, Yugi, for example, is just going to be a little bit too much for North to handle in this one. There's so much skill going into this lineup. Snappy, one of the best freaking in-game leaders in the world as well. There's so much firepower coming in at North right now, and we saw them yesterday. They don't deal too well with that. You know, whenever Snatchy stepped up yesterday, whenever the guys from Ago were stepping up against North yesterday, they were struggling.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If you line up these people man for man for the role that they play on their respective team, OpTic almost wins out in every individual matchup. Like, Snappy's clearly the better fragger than MSL. Like, there's no question about that. Yes, Valde is a very solid passive rifler, the closer I like to call him. I think he's really good in late-round situations. But I think Cajun B, since coming into more of a support rifle player for this team, has actually performed pretty damn well. I think he can go toe-to-toe with Valde in that regard. And then I think, you know, Config, star entry player, KRB has been playing really well, though. That's going to be the most interesting matchup for me, actually, is those two, because I think both are in pretty good form right now. But then I think Yugi clearly wins out the op battle against Mertz. So I think those are like the key individualistic differences there. And here's the thing with Snappy is he might not be as complex of a tactician, but he knows how to use his pieces, and he does have a big piece in config. We're looking at the head-to-head here.
Yeah, on screen now, head-to-head config versus Kierby. Let's not forget that Kierby has had to play a lot more matches at this tournament, hence the big discrepancy in kills. Config and OpTic had the strongest start to this tournament. They had two very dominant games in the best of ones at the start, directly putting them into this position, Jacob.
And you know what? That may be a problem for them, because I think no matter what happens in this game, this is going to be close. It's a domestic lineup. All the players know each other. The two in-game leaders have been playing with and against each other before, so it's going to be one of those nitty-gritty games where it's going to be down to the wire. And the big thing for Northwild here is they've already done that, you know, in all 3 games. They've had so many close games throughout this DreamHack already, so they're used to this pressure. They're used to sitting in the booth, you know, being pressured a little bit. Played overtime yesterday as well, whereas OpTic, they haven't really faced any struggle so far. So the first time they struggle will be the first time we see the character of this new OpTic lineup as well.
Remember, if you are watching on Twitch, to get in the chat and vote for who will win. Exclamation mark OG for OpTic and NOR for North. Either way, you vote for Denmark, so it's a win for Pimp.
Yeah, it is. This is like Pimp's wet dream right now. Like he's up here having a good old time. And yeah,
also, we have our GG.bet live odds on screen, and it pretty much couldn't be tighter.
Yeah, that is definitely the tightest odds we've seen all tournament. That's fair enough. Anytime you have a domestic matchup, that always throws a wrench in whatever logic you might have about who the clear favorite is, just because of the mind games that go on, the understanding of each other that happens not only between official match results that we get to see, but also the practicing that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know about, and how that plays into it as well.
No doubt. And we will be getting underway very shortly with the match, as it's almost ready to go live. But I think right now we should get into predictions. Who would like to start?
I will start. I will start, because I'm sure you have some good reasons for us a little bit later on. But I'm going to take OpTic for 2 different reasons. One, I think that North messed up the pick ban by letting Train come through as the third map. I think they should have won Overpass instead, so I didn't like that. And then secondly, even if you think MSL has a deeper playbook than Snappy, I think the 2 maps we're going to see first, Inferno and Mirage, typically it's not like deeper tactics that go on that map. I mean, Mirage, I guess to an extent you could have more complex executes, but I think that Snappy really knows how to use his pieces. He can play a more aggressive style, particularly on Mirage, that really works well for the players he has. And right now, I think he's found a good balance of bringing his old structure, but also giving players like Config a lot of freedom to just wreak havoc all across the map. So I think that these maps really line up well for OpTic. I think they're better individually. I think they're going to win this series, probably 2-0 actually.
Great points, Dust. I am going to go with North and then throw it over to Pimp, who has 3 reasons brought to us by Hacks for which team he thinks is going to win.
Actually, Paula, I got 3 reasons for you guys why this could be game of the tournament. This could be the game of the tournament. This is not only because there's 2 Danish teams in it, this is because this could be game of the tournament. First reason is history between these 2 lineups. We already talked a little bit about it, but there's a lot of history going into this one. It's not more than 6 months ago both Config and Cajun were kicked from the North lineup. They were no longer finding themselves in the North jersey, and they were no longer valued highly enough within the North regions, which left them out in the cold. They then went up to join OpTic. They played with some American guys. That was a little bit no-no. Then they switched the lineup into a Danish one. But this just, this is a showcase of players from Denmark who all have been playing with against each other for so many years, so they know each other. There's so much history going into this one, and I think that's going to be one of the key factors to look out for. Both these teams want to win badly. The second reason for why I think this could be the game of the tournament is the skill. We don't get a game at this tournament where there's more skill on the server right now. We have so many great players. We have Config being one of the best players in the world when he's in shape. Cajun being one of the best players in the world when he's in shape. Yuki, potential to become one of the best players, and that's only the OpTic players. Then you look towards the North side. You have one of the best in-game leaders in MSL. There's no doubt about it. He has reformed this North lineup, and he's been doing some great results with less skilled players over the years, so he's a very skilled in-game leader. You have Kirby, who was in Astralis. He won the MVP at the E-League Atlanta Major 2017, winning a major winning championship, guy sitting on the North side. So there's so much skill on the server, and no matter who wins of this one, there's not going to be as much skill in the next game. So look out for that. There's going to be some spectacular shots and some spectacular duels in this one. Third reason is the pride. We talked about it already. It's 2 Danish teams. There's so much pride going into this one. No of these 2 Danish teams wants to lose this one. I know it for myself. When I was playing in SK Gaming, the Danish version, and I was being left out of Dignitas, which is now North. When I played Dignitas back then, I wanted to win so badly. It didn't matter what the tournament was. It didn't matter if there was any prize money in it. It was all about the pride. You want to show that you're the better version of yourself. You want to show that you're the better team. You want to show that you're the better player. All these 10 players are fired up to win this one, and that's why I think we're going to have one hell of a game, Paula.
I like number 3, Danish pride, and the competitiveness from each of these teams to better The other is going to be at an extremely high and intense level. Pimp, who's your vote going with?
I think North is going to win this one. I think it's going to be a 2-1. I think we're going to have a close series, and I do think that that the train pick must be due to practice. Because I would agree, you know, on paper it looks obvious to go with overpass, but North have been practicing a little bit at home and OpTic as well. So it must be something we don't know about, and that's why I have faith in North. You know, they have the big setup behind them. They have the clever coach as well. MSL usually is a good guy in the veto, so I have faith in North in this one.
Let's now get the results up from the Twitch vote, and we have 77. We have a lot of OpTic fans in the building cheering on their Danes. North sitting at 23. All right, everybody, it's time to get into this matchup. Our casters are ready. Risk and Blue, great to see you. How are you doing this morning?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, ready to cast some games.
Ready for some more pumped up than that. What is this?
Well, you know what?
It's still early.
You guys can go ahead and do your thing, which we know you do damn good.
All right, well, thank you very much, Paula, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the championship bracket for the DreamHack Open here live from DreamHack Summer. And what a semifinal that we get to start off with, a Danish affair between two very legendary rosters.
Yeah, this is going to be a great game, as Pimp said, even though always, of course, coming in with a cop-out on the 3 reasons. That's his style now. But even though it's a cop-out, I still have to agree with him. This is going to be probably the best game of the tournament. I'm looking forward to this. It's also a grudge match. I saw Config last night, was on Twitter. MSL did like a big post about, oh, it's going to be exciting to play tomorrow. And then Config is like, yeah, I'm not going to be fake. I'm going to have triple your kills tomorrow. See you on the server. And that's just like Config in a fucking in a freaking nutshell. That's a nice word there.
Family show.
That is what he does. He doesn't care. He actually uses that word a lot as well. So I'm just getting in the spirit, you know.
It's all good.
That's what he does. Like, he gets into people's minds. He plays those games, and now let's see if he can put it on the server.
All right, guys. Well, here we go. Map number 1 of the semifinals. Let's get this bracket started as North and their opponents, OpTic Gaming, will be going at each other here on our first map, Inferno. Let's deep dive right into it. OpTic's going to be starting off on the CT side. North will be on the T side. At the beginning, we are going to see North just make a run up through mid. Not going to be going straight through to brackets, however. Not going to be so bold as to do that, but they will spread out. More than likely look to take some apartments control after a little bit of delay here.
Still saving the 2 smokes. Cajun B and Snappy both bought a smoke in the CZ 75. See if they can get the first spot on. Cajun B is going to rotate back and probably smoke the area off now, as Mertz is trying to take control over the apartments. Bomb will be thrown back. Kirby's still on the banana, so then this 4-1 split with 1 player on banana on the T side and the rest situated around middle. This could also mean that they're just going to take control here and then in 30 seconds go back and go towards B. But let's see, they're going to take top mid control to begin with.
Yugi also still trying to take the challenge here, but he's going to get completely overwhelmed by the North roster, and they're going to quickly called it perfectly. They're going to go for the split over here towards the... Oh, wait, maybe not. Hold on.
Okay.
Bit of a switcheroo here.
That's the mid-round call. Okay. This is probably not the plan.
Lined up, ready to go for it, but now they're holding inside of Library. They've got a 3-man stack there, one still holding on a wrap side. Still 2 CTs inside of the A site, but as you can see, Gade is heavily hit. Dinked down to 8 HP, so he's not going to be able to survive an open fight.
They're making the correct call, technically, because 2 of the CT players are still holding on B. Now one of them is pushing out for information, as you can see on the top left. But the T's already pushing in towards A. There's so many avenues to watch for the CTs.
And the T's are going to explode out of the site in a second, immediately destroying Gade. Again, that goes back to that low HP. Cajun is able to trade for 1, but that'll be it. North still get into the site pretty much scot-free. No exception having to lose MSL, and now they just have to hold off against the B rotators, and the pistol will be there as Config and Snappy going to try their best at this in the 2v4, but it's going to be rough, to say the least. This is hard to retake, especially when you're outmanned like this and you don't have as much utility this early into the game. Already losing Config, just on Snappy now, who's held out in the long haul. More than likely will be staying here. We'll just go for a last-second Hail Mary deep dive into the site. Get himself the first duel at least. There's the first kill against Curie.
Grab him now.
But yeah, they've got him surrounded, and the time is out anyway for him to defuse that bomb. Mertz gets the last kill on North, take control of the opening pistol.
This was such a nice round just in general. Like, the setup 4-1 as we usually see, that's the default. You go with the T side. Then the player on banana sees, okay, there's nothing here. They're not pushing out. I can't really see anything. They're probably just holding defensive on the side. And that's when the call is made. Like, they take control over towards long. The mid-round call is made. Let's not go for the initial plan, which was the B split. Let's just focus on this A side where we've already gotten 1 frag, and we know they're playing defensive B. So let's just wrap that from 3 different angles, go in towards the bomb side, and just win the duels, which we can because we're 5 players against 2 here. That's just the perfect mid-round call for MSL.
So North are going to take slow approach to clear out apartments this time around here, just mauling out both sides, making sure that there's no one trying to play close up with CZs like we've very often seen in the past. OpTic, of course, did go for that kind of a buy. It's a bit odd in the way they did it, though. No armor investment, just the pistols, and then everyone else buying up a smoke. So we've got 5 smokes across the team, none of which have been used yet either.
Yugi just behind it now. Once again, the 4-1 split. 1 banana, 4 mid. Yugi trying his luck through the smoke, but will be shot straight back. The Tracers giving him away. Gade trying to do the same thing without letting any bullets loose. Now gonna walk through, but also shut down by Mertz. This is the standard setup for North, and you can't really do anything with it.
Thinks he's been a little bit sneaky there at the end, but sadly doesn't pay out. So Yugi going down, and overall North, as you were saying, just kind of systematically clearing things out across the map. Now as they push in, just a few more targets left to paint, and then they'll have control of the second round here. One on the site being handled, and now just the B rotators once again is all I have to worry about.
As said before, like, it's very hard to do anything against this. Like, what can you do when you're OpTic gaming in this situation? You just try to play around the smokes, try to go for the small gimmicky plays, but they are just there, like, on the other side of the smokes, waiting, playing it patiently, and that's the model that North shows. That's the kind of difference between OpTic and North, because Snappy can be more loose, more just going in the face of your opponents, while MSL will have a strong structure, and yes, he'll allow players like Caribbean and Mertz to open up things, but he will be the more structured one in this matchup.
It's a very slow approach to things, even on the anti-eco round from North there, as they take full control of their second, without losing a single player along the way, which will be great for money build-up in the long run here. A lot of utility was used on the execute, but that can be easily rebought and reutilized in the third round. And this one actually will more than likely require even less utility, as OpTic are going to be on a full save. It's only USPs to worry about. They don't have to be careful about 4-spot CZs or anything like that at close quarters.
Mertz and Caribou towards Banana. This time around the default changes. More pressure on the Banana, so this could be the signal of them actually just wanting to take Apartment's control and then rotate later on, because they haven't hit B just yet. This would be the best round to do it in, since they have a big bunch of utility, big bunch of weapons. They could easily take the advantage.
Kirby getting himself started off well by actually clearing out the B side, although he doesn't realize it yet. It's going to be Config getting eliminated first. But the team will still throw a little bit of aggression towards the A site, which is actually going to get a bit chaotic. Yugi is able to sneak off 1 kill amongst the chaos, but that'll be it. Still a fast cleanup besides that, and North get the 3-0 start that, of course, they would like.
Interesting also that we see the MP7 meta starting to come in. Like, we had 3 players with the MP7s here on the T side. Not really going for the Mac 10s anymore because the MP7 is a bit better. The kill reward, of course, isn't as high, but still the price is so low, so it makes a lot of sense. And this is something that we're going to see because of the update, and because we're playing on the update, the new update right now. And we're going to see this for the next couple of months, I feel like, this MP7 meta being explored by the top teams.
Absolutely. These teams are utilizing it quite a bit, including North, who are going to carry those MP7s into the first gun round now and try to utilize that, as the weapon does offer a little bit more utility at the kind of mid-range game compared to some of the other weapons like the Mac 10.
Yeah. The bonus round in this sense will be way more efficient. You will have a way bigger chance of saving 3 of them, especially on the T side, when you can kind of control the pace. So this is very interesting. If they win this, they're going to get so much economy going forward.
So CTs will be pushed back outside of the staging ground, leading up the top Banana here. As both Config, along with his teammate Snappy, are not going to be able to hold in that position for too long. North take the control. But as we're used to seeing on Inferno, it's probably going to be unlikely that the execute will follow up so quickly. They do have pretty much everyone here, though, so they might actually be able to go for it this early on in the round, but it would certainly catch OpTic off guard.
Last player rotating in towards the Banana, seeming like they're getting ready and set for the push. Just needing that last piece. Potentially Valdez Molotov here.
So just about popping off the utility, getting themselves into the site. So there we go. Up on to B they shall go. Snappy trying to hold himself back. Thankfully evacuates in time, but they're not taking any contest. The good news is when they do, it works out well. Config, it's a massive lineup, nearly manages to pull off the ace within just a few seconds there, but it doesn't happen. It is, however, going to leave AZ all alone in a 1v3.
That was perfect from Config. Would you see his spray control there? Taking the right duels at the right times, knowing when to save as well, and hide. AZ going to get the bomb plant. This is still a doable 1v3, but very hard.
Gets himself a good lineup at least to try and take down Cajun, but the next peek from Gade is what will finish him off.
And Config there on the screen. I think he's talking to Snappy about how they held that, about the timing of when they peek. You can see they peek at the first time, both on the left, and then Config rotates around. And he's very close to getting that final frag as well, very close to getting a really nice ace.
Yeah, within just a couple of seconds, too, that would have been a very fast ace, as it's incredibly fast-paced in the way that it manages to knock out all these players, mainly due to them jumbling up, but it gets the job done anyway, so OpTic will take those and get their first round onto the board here on the opening gun round. North, of course, had plenty of money for the rebuys because, well, it was evident by the bonus round. Now, I guess you could technically call this the first real gun round, since North is maybe on full rifles for the first time.
And the game in the game, MSL versus Config on frags is currently equal. I'm going to keep my eye on that.
Okay, yeah.
Gonna make sure that if Config fulfills his promise, that will be mentioned. If he doesn't, that will be mentioned as well. I think like CS, compared to other traditional sports like basketball or football for that matter, need storylines, but that is also good. Config with a good team flash from his teammate and pushing and getting the frag.
Perfect timing on the push from Config. He's got another lined up, so he's going to be able to pick him off as Kirby goes down. The third man left alive for now, and thankfully he was the one with the bomb still under his control, so Mertz will be able to keep his position on bot banana, but will have to back away from it as his team is going to look to reposition here and rethink of a new strategy now. And sadly, they're stuck in a 3v5 with very minimal control across the map.
Early aggression on that banana from Config. And advantage, he rotating back now. Oh, let's see if he can play this correctly, Config.
They know he's there, yeah. So Valde is going to be able to pick him off before he can find any impact. And that's going to be a bit unfortunate, as now it's kind of left Yugi out to dry here. He's only got an op to play with too, and there's going to be another big rush into the site. So he's going to be under a lot of pressure, and he won't be able to really contain it using his own utility. And thankfully, Snappy's arrived in time. Gets a good shot on the cross. Yugi picks one off, but it's Mertz to trade him out. Mertz now alone, though, looking for a 1v4 clutch. Will be taken down before he can even put the bomb down. It's Snappy rotating in. Nice job for the camera guy there to catch that little fist bump, but we will see OpTic come out on top of the round and take their second.
And not a map that is preferred, to say the least, for OpTic, but they're not bad on it either. They did have a couple of shocking results, especially when they went down 9-16 to Space Soldiers in Austin, but they also took down Complexity rather easily on it as well. So it's kind of like a back and forth map for them. It's a swing one. They can do well if they hit the bay, but if they don't, it's going to be hard. But still, like, imagine if they take Inferno and then the next map, of course, coming in as Mirage. That's going to be a potential 2-0 for OpTic. So there's a lot of potential for them to get a great start on this map in this best of 3, especially with now losing the pistol, but gaining all the ground back, destroying the economy of North, and now having them on only pistols.
So we'll see a bit of a slower execute lined up. Actually, a bit of a faster execute, I suppose, lined up this time from North. I don't think we're going to use this utility just to posture up, but they might be going in and taking brackets control with it at the very minimum. And yep, they're going to move in with it. They still have to be careful. Snappy's holding the cubby position, but he can only go 1 for 1. Valde as well somehow snuck into pit. Possibly unnoticed, but he's certainly going to be noticed now as he's able to pick off Cajun B. The trade's enough, though. It's only starting to keep things even into a 3v3. But Gade, oh, a nice spin around to finish off Valde, and gets the last kill as well. Secures the situation in what was becoming a bit chaotic there, but OpTic, I think, was still relatively secure throughout most of that round.
That exact scenario is where Gade is going to be 100%, because what he misses as a player is still experience on the big stage. But when he has a situation where he can say, okay, I'm going to take the first aim duel, then I know where the second guy is, and I have an idea where the third guy is. For him, that just becomes 3 aim duels, and that's where he can excel, because he doesn't have that experience, but he does have the aim. And he is almost second to none to most players, especially in Denmark as well. Like, his aim is on point, and that is why he's on that OpTic team, even though he doesn't have a lot of experience like all the remaining 4 players.
So first ball is being taken by North early on here. So they're going to try to figure out how OpTic were able to take control in these past couple of rounds, where the executes have been going wrong for North, and how they can try to quickly make up for this now before they get too far behind in this situation. Remember, the more runs they can rack together on T side, and the closer they can keep the overall scoreline, the better it's going to be for them when they switch over to CT side in the second half, and arguably the advantage side.
Gade, knife out, ready to go. AK-47 in hand. He will be the one to control that, understandably. And Yugi with the op as well. It's still also one of the games in the game, Yugi versus Mertz. Mertz a very like flashy, flicky opper, where Yugi probably one of the best at just holding angles and waiting for someone to pop out and then correcting his aim. So Mertz is going to have his job cut out for him here. He's definitely not outmatched, but I feel like he is at maybe a 5 to 10% disadvantage in that duel, in just raw skill. So he definitely has to watch out for Yugi's op.
Well, in terms of that up right now, it'll be positioned at top banana, but more than likely, it's not going to see too much competition except for maybe a peek at Crossroads, and that's judging of whether or not Yugi's even peaked for that as well. However, on the opener, we do have North finally starting to go for a little bit of top-mid pressure, and they're going to start to push it through into brackets in a moment here as well, I do believe. Here we go. There's the mollies to be able to take control. AZ's going to rush into Boiler too. Config trying to spam him, but that proves to be a mistake as it gives away his position. Thankfully, the jumping is enough to get him out of the position where he was slowed down by the shots. But still, he's now at 21 HP, which is going to prevent him from taking any hyper-aggressive duels for the rest of the round. And now Yugi's going to be tested. Tries to go for the timing after the flash connects onto him, but he's pushed back too early. And his shot is also way too early too. Now he's locked into the open. Doesn't fall back quickly enough, and he goes straight down to Kirby. Pretty much giving North the side, although Config's going to do some work to try and trade it back, but even he goes down to Mertz after he jumps up on first oranges.
That's really nice reaction from Mertz because he knows the rotation is far away, probably way back CT spawn. So the first thing he does when he sees the shot coming in through the smoke, he goes for the upper position so that he can spot over it. And a lot of players will usually go into the bomb site, take post-plant positions instead of taking that duel. But that's where Mertz is different. Like if he knows a duel can give the advantage for the team and potentially even win them the round as it did here, he's going to take that duel. He's not afraid to do it. And he won them the round because after that frag came in, the rest just save. If Config gets another opening on the site, they're probably going to go for the retake. This wasn't the case.
Yeah, OpTic sadly were just not able to get enough kills on preventing the take from happening so successfully. So North get that clean entry. It was kind of an all-in as well, and OpTic weren't really being that aggressive on banana, so they didn't have a lot of intel that would say it was coming. And in that situation, if you're not able to hold off the execute, then you're really going to be left with no choice but to save, because it's going to take you about half the bomb timer just to rotate on this map. And then if you don't know positions in post-plant, it makes it even more difficult. That and obviously the numbers that were set against them pretty much sealed the deal in terms of justifying the save.
Also, the two coaches behind the team, Rugger behind OpTic, legendary Danish Counter-Strike Source in-game leader, doesn't have a lot of like top level placements as his opponent on the other side. Ave, of course, for 1.6, has multiple like major wins in 1.6. Where OpTic, the coach there, in the community, known as the 7th to 8th place finisher at every international LAN. That was a joke we made with him back in the day. Yeah, that's an interesting matchup as well because they're not like that analyst heavy. I think Ave a bit more than Rugger, but they need to control these young players, and that's the #1 task they have at hand.
Again, trying to go for an opening op shot. It's going to be scared off by a flash and tries to take a timing shot. It'll be way too early, just like the last round. Nades as well, going to chunk down his HP. A third one, knocking off an additional 20 to bring him down to only 1/3. So he's got to be careful now, but there we go. A wild peek from Kirby. Leads to Yugi's first kill finally in this round. And
that's once again like Yugi's strength. Like he will sit in a position as a turret and then someone will come out and he'll correct his aim. And that aim correction will be on point 99% of the time. He's so good in that exact duel.
Snappy's probably going to be next up to bat here. He coming around the corner. Flash is not too successful, sadly. I think it was just short. So Snappy remains unaffected by it. He almost gets caught crossing back into arches. But for now, does a great job of dropping the bomb and denying the corner control.
3v5, OpTic, big advantage. The bomb is dropped as well. I don't think they know exactly, but Cajun B just through the hay balls. Very nice from him. AC now out of the picture. Valde potentially also as well as Mertz is taken out. Just save, Valde, just save.
He's going to be spotted by Config on his way back outside of the T-ramp, so they are going to have a lock on his position. Curious as to how aggressively Config is going to try to hunt him down, because this is a pretty safe position usually to save into, even if it's known that you're there. But it does look like OpTic, again, still kind of with a fledgling amount of money right now. They're not really able to afford that much in terms of rebuys, so they're going to choose not to contest Valde's save and just let him carry the AK through.
Yeah, it's a correct choice in this case. Very nicely done. 4-4, still incredibly close between these two teams. And this is what we would expect. Also with this map pool, I feel like apart from Train, both maps, Mirage and Inferno, could be like 16-14 victories for whatever team because they're both decent on the map. If the team that's not on home turf will show up individually a bit more, then like it's a 50-50 gamble in my mind.
Yeah, overall, I'm just expecting this series to be incredibly close to the wire, down to the bitter end. Like I wouldn't even want to make a prediction on this one because I think it has a very good chance of swinging either way.
Yeah. So Valde with a safe gun, the rest of his team just with pistols. Economy will allow them to get a buy-in next round. Mertz has enough money for the op as well. Very important that he gets that and he can utilize that on the T side. He's actually one of the better T side oppers. Inferno is a map where T side op is not used that often, but Mertz can actually use it to good success.
There's the timing shot again as they try to hold off pressure from around the wrap side on Porch, but it doesn't catch anything once more. They do move in, they get brackets control, which is allowed. It's basically given to them by OpTic. They do not want to try to challenge this close to the chest early on, especially going against pistols like CZ. Snappy will be blinded out. Does not get a kill on the opening spray, but corrects that. He's able to finish off Mertz, but he's quickly traded, and now the split comes in. The T's will quickly take control of CT spawn and are already well on their way towards the B site, but Config obviously is aware of this. He's going to be holding inside to try and stop this. We'll see in a moment here as North get ready to push in. Config shuts down only one. Valdi's there for a quick trade, and AZ will also move in from the other side. It's full B site control, but it's even in a 3v3, and AZ's not been able to upgrade his gun just yet, so OpTic for sure are going to go for the retake this time.
It's actually a really nice choice as we do see the round play out here. Let's see if the retake can come in 3v3. But the way that North play this, I'm going to get in depth with that later.
Valde, nice position from him. No way Gate's going to be able to counter that one back out. AZ has success on Banana 2 and a perfect flashbang to knock out Yugi. North with a great hold, a great lateral they pull as they move in through Rap side, and they take control of yet another round.
So what they do there is basically they run a slightly alternative version of the pistol round. At the pistol round, because they have Glocks against USPs and potentially even CZs, they know that they add a range disadvantage. So they're trying to wrap around the CTs. And they know in this round, because they only have one AK and pistols, they will also be at a range disadvantage. So they kind of make an alternative of the pistol round strat, and they make it work. This is North, and this is MSL at his best, where he will think of a strategy that is perfect for the scenario. And this is the exact case here, but Snappy doesn't care about strats in this case, just goes in for the frag. Straight in.
Perfect timing on the push too, because Kirby did have watch on that, but obviously the Molotov misplaced him, and then he was caught just as he was changing positions there, so there could not have been a better time for Snappy to go for that push. Testing his luck here now. He's going to be careful because Mertz is holding the angle now, but he'll be smoked out as the second deep smoke comes in from OpTic.
One-man advantage, and Yugi just under the Desert Eagle. Big chance for North to get a 2-round lead on their map choice.
See, Snappy's going to try to push his luck again here. Holding inside of the cubby just for right now. We'll see if he gets any more aggressive than that. AZ at the same time, still trying to look for someone around that corner, as it has been commonly played by the CTs, and specifically Snappy. You want to be careful of that. And in the meantime, Config, oof, taking a little bit of a risk there with the jump over half wall. Does spot for intel, though, so he's going to spot at least one, if not both of those players trying to push up Banana.
See, AZ is still very careful about mid. And there's a good reason for that, as you said before. The corner, dangerous position, and they do have the crossfire, or at least Yugi to peek and bait, and then Snappy to finish.
So North with very little time left, actually. Almost less than...
Oh, this smoke is going to be perfect. The timing of this is...
It's going to completely deny them as well, because now they've got cross smokes and mollies coming back in, and they're going to have no choice but to push right past it. Yugi's got the angle. He's only able to find one. Config didn't really seem ready for the fight either, so MSL jumps up on top of first star and just takes out not only him, but then flips around to find Snappy too. Just Cage and B and Gay. This should have been a successful hold from OpTic. This turned into disaster, and now in the 2v3, they can't even justify a retake. Cajun and Gay are both saving, and North will go up 4-6.
Great start. 2-round lead for North. One thing to note as well about Inferno and North playing T-side, they usually win their T-side halves 8-7, 9-6. Not a big margin, but almost consistently they win their T-side halves with 1 or 2 or 3 rounds. Win around 55 to 57% of the rounds on that T-side. Valde right now at a 93 scoreline. That's exactly what we want to see. I think he's the only player that we haven't seen like great stuff from, and he has potential to do that. Ace has been playing well, Mertz in general, Kirby with that big game yesterday. And now Valde stepping up in this semifinal. We have all the cards on the North side. Every star is aligning.
So we'll continue that trend here now as North have really moved in, kicked it into high gear and taken full control of the series at this point. It's up to OpTic now to really try and turn things around here. And sadly, this realization may be coming to them on an eco round here, so they're going to have to wait for it. Actually, no, they do. It looks like they force into it at the last second there, so.
Yugi with another Deagle.
A strange buy from OpTic in the way that ends up working out, but it's also not the worst buy in the world either. Besides the 2 umps, everybody gets full utility. The Deagle's still in there too, but they still have 2 M4s to pull off, and the ump is certainly going to be effective at close quarters. So I imagine they can place that either atop Banana brackets somewhere. Has that close quarters duel. They'll still be able to use it just fine. And we're seeing exactly that, specifically with Snappy. Although there's a lot of pressure coming back in. Mertz right around the corner. There's that flashy aggressive op once again. Moves in, takes out Snappy, and that's already staging ground control going over to North.
Probably one of the better T-side ops on Inferno in the world, Mertz. Just in general, the way that he plays around every single piece of structure. It's almost like he pre-fires corners with the op. He is so good, Mertz, in this exact scenario.
And there's another one right there as he just deletes Config, finds him trying to move out for more intel, plasters him to the wall. He's currently only Yugi on site. You can see there's a quick rotate that's here. It's Gade trying to help out, but Gade's had to take the kind of halfway position now that he's lost config, as he needs to be available to quickly go back into A in the event that the take happens there too. Remember, North don't have the intel just yet to suggest that it's going to go one side or the other, because North, besides Mertz's actions, have been very, very quiet this round.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what side they hit now. Yugi takes down MSL. That's a beautiful shot. But they're still going to have the advantage. So MSL runs in just to check if there's someone on the side. They see that someone is there and then decide to go the other way around.
Quickly, Gade also rotates inside of the A site, and he's given plenty of time to even get into position as well, as North are really going to hesitate once they get in to get bracket control. Now, Gade and Cage are working together on this crossfire. We're going to pick up 3 kills together. Only Valdi knows where Gade's at in the open 1v1. He wins the fight. Now, Yugi, though, has been given plenty of time to rotate. He might be able to stop this plan, actually. He'll rush right up towards it, but he slows down. It doesn't matter, though, as he still easily clutches out the 1v1 and will be left with plenty of time to defuse.
That's a really good hold there on that bomb site. Just in general, just being able to have that almost like crossfire-esque, because the first guy at the boxes is going to fire, then rotate back. They're going to focus their guns on him. Then the secondary guy can take the duel. And that just worked perfectly. North were not ready for that. In that situation, you would either want to have a flashbang into the bomb site or a Molotov to clear out one of the angles, forcing them out. But there was no time for that. That's a problem with waiting so long for the push into the site, that the CTs, if they play it correctly, can do that kind of an almost crossfire setup and win it.
They're going to stay neck and neck here now as North tries to go for a quick banana push. Yugi gets a great angle this time, though. Clips off MSL, and already OpTic's got a 5v4, and the bomb was dropped from that, too. Granted, not going to be able to play off that intel this early on in the round, but hey, it's a nice gesture.
Yeah, MSL thinks he's safe there because the aggressive Molotov on Banana, but that's why Yugi, he knows when that Molotov goes down, they're going to think that I'm going to stay back. And that's why I'm going to peek in almost the fire. Juggles around it, doesn't lose a lot of HP. Take that first frag, and that's a big advantage. Smoke's being lined up towards the B bomb site as North are readying up to go in.
They're just going to go for an all-in once again. Just throw everything they've got at the site. They know that OpTic aren't being aggressive, even after they got the pick earlier. So they can hopefully try and surprise them here. Good smoke is going to block out Yugi's position. For the time being, he decides not to push against it and try to go further into the site. So that leaves Config alone, and he's been blinded out too. He also can't go back into the safe corner. He makes the mistake of walking towards it while blind. Didn't realize there was a molly on the ground and got burned out. Oh, and even better, AZ's able to catch Yugi before he can successfully fall back inside of the church. So we're down to a 4v3. No, 4v2 as Kierby snipes at another one from CT. And that might as well call for the save, but Snappy might need a little help getting out of here. He's going to try to sneak away. Hopefully can make the cross without too much congestion. Panics a little bit with the spray goes in, but he will make it out of here alive. But still, another successful take from North will keep their lead in a good position at 7-5.
Yeah, this B all-in explosion execute is so good. Like, their utility is
like
on
every
point.
time.
And also the way that they use the Molotovs on the back box in the corner, in the left corner. So they flash in first and then put down the Molotov. So the flash actually will kind of blind a player in the back corner, and he'll think, okay, there's no Molotov. But then the Molotov comes while the flash, as AC gets that. So fully flashed, you're going to walk into that Molotov. You're going to take damage and potentially die, as it happened this round.
Big kill there from AZ right at the end. It does drop the op, prevents the save. That will more than likely reduce the intensity of this buy that we'll see quite a bit from OpTic. And in fact, it's triggered a pause from them now. They're going to take a moment here.
Talk about it, talk things through. OpTic also a team of a lot of personalities, so each player will have like an input or a chance to input something into the round, and then Snappy will take all that into account and put down a plan. Usually, Coach Rugger will also have something to say about it, or at least he'll be available for the players to ask if he sees anything that could be taken into account as well. And now, plan has been mapped out. Snappy and the boys are ready to go back on the server.
Yeah, like you were mentioning before, they really needed to try and find a way in that pause to figure out how to stop this aggressive B hit that we've been seeing constantly from North. They just set up some set smokes. It's a pretty straightforward strat as well, and then force themselves into the site. But North have been so good with their entry power that OpTic have just been completely unable to stop it, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 occasions so far here. And OpTic, of course, on this round are not going to be putting up much of a fight to begin with, as they're stuck for the most part on the pistols. Cajun having the only real investment, as you can see with the M4 that was saved from the last round.
Hit squad in apartments. Desert Eagle on Yugi, and he's on point. This is the second time MSL has been taken out by a 1D. Goes for a second. Yugi, what is this?
Cajun's going to be able to pick up another kill as well, and Yugi might be getting himself a third here. He's got the angle for it. It's not a 1D this time, stuck behind the boxes. We'll give it a chance to re-peek, and now the cavalry's here, including the M4. Cajun knocks out the 2 remaining players from the T side, and OpTic pull out a round out of absolutely nowhere.
That is the 1D potential. We saw it earlier on the B-bomb side. Yugi's 1D gone to MSL. First time this one. Goes for the reload peak. Easy peasy out there. Carry done as well.
Another pause instantly triggered. I'm going to assume that this one came from North. See in a second. Yep, there we go. North will use their second pause. Or so to decompose and figure out. Let's give the IGL a little bit of time to talk about what went wrong there.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to take that. A lot of stuff shouldn't have happened in that round. They should definitely had the flash ready for the back corner of long. When the first guy goes down, you have to pressure back the CT, and they don't have that. It's just I think that the general mindset is it's just a deagle. We should be able to just run in and win that duel. But that's the. It's
not a good philosophy.
Yeah, that's not a good philosophy.
Especially
for the
at the pro level.
Exactly, because anyone can step up if they have a Desert Eagle at hand. So you should always use that utility in. And yes, of course, it's nice to have utility in a post plant, but you have to be able to get to the plant before thinking about that, in my opinion. I could be wrong here.
Gay got himself a good spot early on by crossing window. A little bit risky, as there was a chance he could have gotten picked off right there, but sees a good 3 to 4 players, I think, coming up through alt mid. And now he's going to get ready for them. Yugi specifically is backing out as well of Boiler here just in the nick of time. And also a greatly placed nade going down long haul. It's going to completely destroy Kirby's health pool, but they don't expect them to come out so aggressively. Kirby walks right in and finds a kill on Negade. Now it's up to Cajun over here holding inside of the pit, along with Yugi, of course. They all pick up kills, 2 for each of them. And now it's just MSL. He's only got an MP7. Yes, he finally gets the kill on Cajun, but that's it. Snappy's here for the trade, and the round is over.
That is a strange one, because usually with that exact strat they throw out, the explosion out of apartments, you have someone straight checking towards that broken wall at the end of apartments. Yes, Yugi will clip people, and yes, you want to go for that frag onto the op, but 2 people focus on him while Cajun B, no one is looking his way. It might be the first guy that dies is the one that's supposed to clear broken wall, but then they have to focus on the fact that they could be a guy there. Like, that position, if unchecked, is godlike. This time around, North, 3 C sets and 2 AKs.
Letting him get away with pretty much anything that they'd like here. The nades again at the beginning of the round as well.
Wow.
3 players losing a third of their HP already, or 2/3 of their HP, excuse me, down to a third of their health pool here. So North are going to have to hold back. You can see them boosting up, just hoping someone re-peaks for intel, but I don't think that's happening.
This is a really good chance for OpTic to actually go up against, well, the best half for North. Usually on this T side, they win 8-7, 9-6, 10-5. There's a chance for OpTic to go up 8-7, and with a pistol round win as well. It's a very good start to the opponent's map pick.
See, not that the op's necessary anymore, but Config's still going to connect the opening shot. Just what seemed like a lone lurker, but the nades following that up are going to indicate that there's more on the way. Valide's next to fall, and Snappy has the flower pot position to bring it down to 2. Let's make it 1, in fact, as Config sinks another shot to make it 3 on the round. And AZ sadly left alone here in a 1v5. It's not looking like he's going to be able to do too much, so I think it's a safe bet to say OpTic will more than likely have the advantage at halftime.
Oh, for sure. This is going to be the 8-7 OpTic. Let's make things really interesting, because now North, they have to dig deep, because I don't feel like they have, like, they're not bad on Mirage, but I feel like OpTic is a lot better on Mirage than they are. So they definitely have to dig deep on Inferno. I feel like if they get to map 3, they're probably going to take it, but with the practice that they've had on this map that hasn't really been shown, I know that they have been practicing. There's a reason that they pick it in the 3rd one. But they need to win Inferno.
Great round from Config Config overall at the end there. Picking up 4 additional kills, putting him in a very good position. I think that puts him at the top frag position for his team, but we'll get that confirmed when we jump back in game. So everyone from OpTic kind of waking up there at the end, picking up a good sequence of rounds on their CT side, where it did seem like there was a moment of struggle where North was just going to be able to continue to throw that very heavy B execute at them, but after the pause, we had the eco round come out from OpTic, and from that point forward, the momentum seemed to shift pretty heavily into their favor. So they rounded the comeback and ended up with control of the lead at halftime. Now granted, it's a very delicate lead, only 1 round, so the pistol's going to prove very important here, as it's going to give a team that wins it a little bit of a buffer at the start of the second half.
Here we go, ladies and gents. 2nd pistol of this semi-final coming up. Last time around, it was a pretty quick scenario for the T side. Rushing and good mid-round calling gave them the A-bomb site. Is it going to be the same story? or North going to be able to take 2 pistols on Inferno?
Obviously having a pretty good record, but at the same time, they've played significantly more games so far in this tournament than OpTic. It's going to be AZ, though, that finds a pretty good success with the pistol out here in mid by knocking out both Config and Snappy way down to the crossroads in mid.
I really like this, actually. They know that OpTic Gaming are going to play like a very aggressive, intimidating style on the T side, and they're just saying, yeah, we're going to meet you in mid, and we're going to take these aim duels. We're not afraid of you. Yes, you might have slightly better aimers, but we are going to take the duels nonetheless.
So now, completely stunted down to a 3v5. But the good news is that they don't realize yet, with good damage being done, and finally finding a trade on AZ, Valde next up to bat here at only 1 HP. He's got to be careful. Mertz with a swing and a hit as he takes out Yugi, leaving only Gade in the fight via 1v3. Gade knows for sure he's got Valde here, but like I said before, Valde's got 1 HP. Just trying to waste time so that players like Kierbe can rotate in and finish off the job for him.
Very nicely done. AZ with that dream started around as well, like going into mid, just clicking 2 straight off. That's what you want. And here we see it on replay. First one, left side, secondary one, 1 bullet onto Config.
Nice, very smooth.
MP7 meta once more. This one is full SMG. And I actually like this choice in general, just not buying any M4s because you don't want to be giving that one advantage player out. Oh, full flash!
Well, and Kierbe just going to tear them to shreds. A little bit of help from AZ coming in there, too. Both will find 2 for themselves, and MSL gets the final kill. North quickly take control of that round, only lasting 17 seconds as now they take the lead.
I'm pretty sure that was a setup flash for MSL as well. That top banana control that they usually pull on the CT side of things. They just go out with 2 players, and then MSL sets up behind it. The flashbang timing is perfect in this case. Like AZ and Kierbe, they can just go out, spray away, 2 SMGs. That whole team is going to be shredded thanks to that flashbang.
OpTic following that up, do have the full eco in front of them, so it's a pretty safe bet here to see North going up to double digits first, then, unless something would go horribly wrong on this round.
Yeah, this if this goes to OpTic, something is definitely wrong.
Yeah, this is what I like to call the garbage round.
A good old school eco, full Glock train.
We're going to see OpTic trying to play around a little bit in mid here. Kierbe gets scared by it, so he does spam back. I think it's a good damage, too. There's no full kill just yet, but it's like OpTic are trying to play the slow game here. Kind of fighting the inevitable to a certain degree, but like we said, if it gets North to get impatient and they start making mistakes, they start playing too aggressively, that's when they can net themselves a kill. And the kill turns to 2, and the domino effect takes over from that forward. Speaking of which, here we go. There's that first kill. That's giving them access to the B site, actually. They pretty much got a plant guaranteed now with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Because if you play that aggressive banana, in my opinion, you have to play it deeper in banana. Because when you die at the first wall there, the rotation timing is not going to be enough to deny the plant. And if it's full eco, just getting a plant is perfect for the T side. So they will get the plant for free. Actually going to take 2 weapons with them, 3 weapons.
With a Glock.
This is way too much damage. Like bomb and 3 kills on a full eco. This is the best case scenario for the T side,
yeah,
like, by far.
Cajun's very happy with the fact that he was able to pick up 2 kills from that position right there. As far as he's concerned, he was imagining a 1 and done pretty much, as you should generally expect. The fact that he's able to get 2 from that position with just a Glock is very, very impressive. So some great stuff from him, and overall great economical damage being done to North that round. And it's great for their economy builder too, as now they get the extra money for the plant.
So now, up on Mertz, full AK setup on OpTic. 2 MP7s on AZ and MSL, and that's the setup you want for North. Valde and Kierbe on M4s, AC and MSL on MP7s.
OpTic ready to move in and try to take some mid control here on the opener. North at the same time, obviously buying into this one pretty heavily, giving Mertz the op for the first time.
The angle, he sees him.
They saw him though, I'm pretty sure too, and he knows it, so he's gonna back off and just smoke off the corner. In the meantime, AZ, good peek, but he was flashed out for it, so he's unable to do anything. Mertz again, as well, going to be pushed back around the wrap side, and now his friend in Library can't really help him. He gets a good first shot, but Config moves him from porch side to trigger that immediately. Kierbe takes a risk in pushing through the smoke over at Arches, and that'll lead to his death. Valde at the same time in the site trying to hold on, the same for AZ, but AZ's only got an MP7. A lot of 1-for-1 trades, but at the end of the day, the opening entry from OpTic gives them the man advantage in post-plant and puts MSL under pressure to clutch the 1v2. He'll go for this, the sneak play, walking right up. Problem though is it's going to be incredibly predictable, and at that range, Yugi will win out with the better weapon.
Bonus round not happening this time around for North. 3 MP7s. We saw that they struggle against AKs, but it's still worth a try in this situation. So I don't mind them not upgrading. They do have plenty of money in the bank, so a rebuy will be imminent. And this is where we'll see the full setup and the full first buy round for these two teams. The question is, will they upgrade or will they have money for an AWP upgrade for Yugi on T side? I highly actually doubt that they're going to go for that and utilize him, because where Mertz is a more aggressive like T-side opper, Yugi needs to have an angle and just sit there and hold it. So unless they have a specific strat in mind, I don't think they're going to throw out the op on the T-side for OpTic that much.
There's a lot of teams in general that just don't really do it anymore on this map. Just proving that it's not worth it, and they can find just as much success with 5 rifles. So it's become more and more of a common theme recently, just depending on how the Opera prefers to play it as well, I think, has a big piece.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, he actually gets it. This is interesting, because then we're going to see a round that is planned out from the beginning. This is a place where they put Yugi into a specific position, hope for him to open, and then react on that.
It's going to be look at this aggressive push coming out from North this time. Is they're going to take quick banana control. Just use the smoke to be able to reaffirm that. Some early nades, of course, to push back any grouping of Ts that might be hanging out around the crossroads. Not really going to do much in that regard, but it does keep config back for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, keeps Yugi back as well.
Yeah, along with, of course, just holding the Ts at bay in general here on Banana. So North trying to go for a little bit more control now that they have the lead. It's a bit of a delicate one, obviously, with the last round being lost, but CMSL don't want to do that anymore. Smoke goes down, arrives just in time, but Config still catches MSL as he tries to peek back out and back away from the staging ground.
And that is Config in a nutshell. Like, he is going to, when he sees that weakness, he's just going to pounce. He doesn't care about the smoke being down. And technically, I think Yugi is supposed to open Banana there, but because Config sees this, he's just going to straight pounce on it and give them the advantage.
It's only KRB left now inside of the B-bomb site. There is a rotate on the way, as we are going to see Merch joining him in just a moment here. No longer do they have that heavy presence anymore. Oh, actually, never mind. I'm going to take that back. They're taking a bit of a gamble here. Yeah. Rotating 2 players over instead of just the usual 1. But that is going to leave AZ out to dry inside of the A site, where OpTic are now trying to move in for control. Specifically, AZ just playing into pit right now, which is also going to become a problem for him, because unless he's constantly going for the peak around the hay barrel there, he's not going to have that much intel about when the execute actually comes in. And look at this, this multi-angle as well. Very doubtful that he's going to be able to successfully deal with this. And obviously he won't be getting rotates in time. It's still way too far away. He's called for it now. Opens up successfully with a first kill, but very quickly overwhelmed due to the multi-angled approach that I talked about before.
North are going to save here. 3 weapons. They brought down to almost nothing at the end. See $0 on Kerber here, 150 on Valde. So you can kind of expect that to be the same whole team around. And yes, that is the case. So saving 3 rifles here to bring that into the next round, to have some C-sets around it, maybe even a force buy around it, is without a doubt the best option here for North.
So far this series proving to be true in its closeness, I suppose we could say. Both teams continuing to hold it neck and neck, as we're going to be tied again for the, I don't even know how many times it's happened. As like I said before, this map so far has been incredibly back and forth between the 2 teams.
And that's what Pim said on the desk as well. Like, we can expect individual actions at such a high level, because all these players on the server right now are incredibly skilled. And that is why it's so close, because the rounds both have systems, and I would say North's system is a bit stronger than OpTic's. But then again, like, the individual level is a bit higher on OpTic, on at least like the star players. So they're so close to each other. And then in one round, the system will win out, and then the next round, like for example, Config getting an advantage on Banana, it's purely down to his individual skill. That will give them an advantage that wins out. So you're going to be able to see that like back and forth throughout this entire game, I feel like.
North are going to end up in a bit of an awkward buy this round too, because of their current economical situation. They have 2 players full saving, 3 players are going to be able to afford M4s, or of course save them for the last round, but overall, it's still going to be a little bit weird. And utility is going to be completely absent for the most part too. Valde has the HE and Molly still stacked onto him, but that'll be it. No smokes to use or anything here. Still overall a very light kit from North.
Yeah, and after the mid stack, they're going to count all their blessings and maybe just hide on the B bomb side. Make sure that if they go B, they have the manpower to deal with it. If they go A, then that's just how the cookie crumbles. There's no real reason to go for it. They're going to rotate back and forth, actually.
OpTic, in the meantime, are trying their best to fish for intel, because I think they didn't really know what to expect from North coming out of this round, since there was the option for a force coming off of those saves, but they decided not to do it. And once again, they're just going to do this straightforward B push that we were seeing work so well for North in the last half here. Snappy finding 2 entries, so far completely unresponded to as well. Sadly, none of the rifles have been dropped, so they still got a little bit of fighting to do. AZ specifically really goes for a deep dive, goes right past the CT smoke, But now it's going to be Cajun that actually pushes out from Banana to get the next kill and forces Kirby to save, sadly, as he's left with really no choice.
It was so fun in that situation because you could see the two CT players, they were just rotating back and forth. First they were at B, then they go to A, then they go to B, then they want to rotate to A again. And then mid during that rotation, the flashes come over and then they're like rotating back to B. So they just like traverse through CT spawn like 4 or 5 times through that round. And of course they arrive too late when the hit actually comes. AC tries to go through the smoke, only gets one for his troubles, but immediately shot down after. So very hard for them to do anything to react to this due to the bad buy, or not really the bad buy, the lack of a buy, because now the money is coming in. They're going to have a 3-round loss bonus, plus 1750 to 1900 on the players. That means that they're going to have enough money to buy for this round.
OpTic getting a bit of a string of relatively clean rounds, though, so North's got to be careful of that, because I'm pretty sure OpTic's going to start to build up a bank relatively quickly here. Their money, yeah, it's not going crazy yet, but they are starting to get up towards like 6K or more, and that's when it does start to get a little bit dangerous when the Ts acquire that much. North want to try to handle that quickly and at least make these rounds a little bit more evenly traded, as otherwise it's going to get too far out of their control. And even if they start winning rounds, they're just going to have to go up against so many gun rounds before they ever get anywhere.
The problem right now also is the money for North will only allow them to get 3 Molotovs and only 1 kit. That's not really what you want against OpTic. You want to have Molotov to flush them out of angles and hold them back and make sure you can kind of deny them aggressive map pressure. That's not the case this time around.
Also kind of discourage them from making these more aggressive plays that we've been seeing be relatively successful. Again, going back to the example of Config a couple rounds back, and well, yeah, just like this. As he peeks out around the corner, instantly taps in for an entry. Valde may be engaging on the wrong players. He too is going to get baited and taking a fight, which will cause him to die. Config and Yugi wrapping around, isolating Mertz to be able to take him down, and still only losing 1 player along the way. This is the theme that I was talking about before, where OpTic are not only getting successful entries, but they're very clean too. They're only losing 1 to 2 players at most on site takes.
And this is the example why North pretty much prefer the T side on Inferno, because the T side on Inferno, if you have a good structure, you can almost control everything with your executes. On the CT side, you need to be able to win your 1v1 duels, and that's where OpTic shine. That's where a player like Config will shine. Player like Cajun B as well. Gate also with his aim. And that's where problems start to arise for North, because in those 1v1 duels when they're holding on the CT side, they're not good enough.
We can tell OpTic obviously getting a little bit more comfortable with their economy situation right now as they're trying to get aggressive to hunt down these rifles. They got Kirby cornered. He comes out on top of that last 1v1 against Config, though. No one else is going to be able to even get close enough, so he'll survive the round and keep the save. OpTic, of course, will have no problem with their rebuys at this point.
OpTic on 12. 2-round lead. I think that is the biggest lead we've had so far in this game, like 2, maybe even a 3-round lead at one point, but that's it. There has to be nothing more than that throughout this entire game. And it's just a testament to how close these two teams are and how close the competition is in Denmark for that 2nd place, because obviously none of these teams in the best of 3 would be able to stand up to Astralis and take a win. But for that 2nd place, that's what they're battling for right now in those Danish rankings.
We are at a very, very even keel right now in terms of the rounds that have been exchanged. In fact, the half started pretty much the exact same way, with the winner of the pistol won the first sequence of 3 rounds, which, again, that's pretty obvious. But then, after the gun round, the opposite team is the one that started picking up a chain of rounds, as they've also won the next 3. So far, we're going the exact same path that we went at the first half. So I don't think North is going to be resisting it too much on this round, as they are pretty much in full eco territory, minus Kirby saving from the previous round.
This is where we need the monster that we saw yesterday come out of Kirby. Like, yesterday he was in that best of 3, he was on plus 31 rating, I think. Like, he was insane. And in order for them to have a chance, he has to do the exact same thing this round. He's the only one with equipment. Only one with a weapon.
Problem is they are going to go into B, which for some reason was left with only 1 player to defend it, and it's 1 player with a USP. It's not Kirby, as you might expect with a split like that. So once again, OpTic are going to just walk right in. They've already got the plant secured. This is pretty much already it right here. Cajun, along with Yugi, now take the fight towards Banana, and that's going to fend off any attempt at a retake, I believe.
Yeah, Kirby's going to save his guns here. Valde and AC are going to hope for some exits at the bottom of Banana. Kirby might actually also just wait for exits, but this round is definitely going to go to OpTic. So 13 to 10, enough money on the bank. It's on their opponent's map pick, and they're in the lead with 3 rounds with 3 to go. This is exactly how they wanted this to go, OpTic Gaming.
So we have to hope that whatever the pause was for from North in the previous round is really going to come into effect in this next round, because if not, the snowball effect is really just going to take over, and I feel like OpTic will just run it straight up to 16. Sadly, North have just been Shooting blanks here for the past couple of rounds and have been unable to find a strategy that works for them, especially on this run here too. I imagine what they were trying to do is just take a gamble and hope that OpTic would execute towards A, but it ended up firing right back into their face, and they had to give the round away along with a couple of extra deaths as well.
OpTic Gaming on the verge of success on map 1, and now the buy.
Look, there's the money problem that I was talking about before too, because look at the amounts that we have on OpTic. 12.1k after he's already fully bought up on Yugi, 10.2k, same thing from Gade. The others obviously not as good, but still at around 6 to 7k each. That is a lot of money in the overall bank, and it is now going to take 2, if not 3 consecutive gun rounds for North to finally break that down.
Yeah. It's a tough choice, tough job for the North players right now, but that's how it is sometimes in Counter-Strike. Like, you get just a tad bit behind, and that's where things now snowballing, as you mentioned before. North, they need to step up now. This is where Careby, this is where the AC we saw in the beginning of this tournament, this is where Valde and Mertz, they all need to step up, and MSL needs to control them. He doesn't need to be on the top of the scoreboard, but he's actually doing okay now. Him and Careby are both on 11, and I think that's more a testament to how well MSL is playing. Like, Careby should be way above that. MSL is fine on 11.
Mertz looking for something in mid, and in fact, ooh, North getting a little bit crazy here now. Specifically, Mertz has got aggressive, and when push comes to shove, the shot is a miss, sadly. But thankfully for him, there's very little aggression from OpTic in the actual mid area, so he is allowed to escape without taking any damage here.
What a tight angle as well. He sees it.
He sees it. He knows he's going down, so.
That is Mertz in a nutshell. He's so good at those duels. It's insane.
Gay doesn't even know what hit him there as he's just deleted from the situation. And now OpTic are going to try to go for a quick wrap into the A site. Again, another kind of shock value play for them as they're going to go all in. Hope to force another save out of North. The trades, though, aren't necessarily favoring them as they're down to 2. Now just 1 as Valde picks off another target. It's all on Yugi, but he too falls. And finally, after a sequence of, I believe, 4, if not 5 rounds from OpTic, we do see another one picked up by North.
And a star steps up to the task. Valde with a 3K. And that's why he's being touted as one of the best players not on Astralis currently in Denmark. Because he can do everything, like almost every single role apart from in-game leading, and every single position he can play. And then he can come up with plays like this, where he's on the defense, his team is struggling, he's going to pick up 3K in that round. Such a nice player to follow. Mertz once again opening. And they need him to be on point. And he has been so far in the last 2 rounds.
OpTic, besides the loss of config, though, sadly have not been able to achieve so much here. And they're not even really looking to do a whole lot early on. But that's going to change now as they do go for quick brackets control, using, again, a bit of a risky strat here. 0 utility to do it. But because of the fact that there's no resistance from North, they get this scot-free. North have no clue that they're here until that peak happens, of course. Now AZ's seen that they've taken the brackets control.
Yeah, now Molotov control needs to come in for the T-side team when this one goes out. They know that there's one in pit, like Molotov, broken wall, flash over towards pit, so both of them get blind, and then execute onto the bomb side. That has to be the play if they want to go A.
OpTic still have a relatively full kit of you. Ooh, okay, just a casual 1-tap to get into the site. But Valde's going unnoticed, though. He could wreak some havoc right here. He's going to sneak up on top of the hay bale, but no, he's spotted out by Yugi, I think up on top of the balcony as he walked out. Now MSL will also be blinded. I don't think they heard him get onto the site, though. Another flash thrown against the most forward player here. And the engagement begins, but Gade still gets the better. The CT opponent in the 1v1. Snappy does the same thing with Mertz back in Library. It's all on Carey. He's going to be able to clip off Snappy, but that's it. The 1v3 is not possible. He's fallen back to save, and OpTic are going up to 14, just 2 away from getting map number 1 under their control.
And just as North come back with a really nice defensive round, Gade just goes in and 1-taps the defense. He knows that there's one in pit, so that 1-tap actually does make sense. They actually also throw down the smoke, so the smoke blooms. The second that blooms, that's why Gade goes for the peak, because he knows he has a very, very, very small window of timing where he can go in and get a 1-tap for free, and he hits that. And that's Gade's aim on point. And he will win those duels. Perfect timing.
Carey, of course, going to try to lurk back in. See if anything presents itself to him. Most notably, he'd probably be looking for an op right here. Oh, he actually moves in and picks off one player. But again, money is so out of control for OpTic at this point that that means very little, sadly.
It doesn't really matter. I think they can't buy if they lose the rest of these rounds, but it's very close to that. look at that timing with the smoke, because the CT sees the smoke and then is forced to change his position the second that lands, and that is the second that Gate peeks out. So the timing is on point there for the OpTic side.
The second duel that he wins is also very impressive too, because I'm pretty sure the person he was fighting on the CT side knew he was coming, but the reverse, oh my god! Let's just forget everything from the last round, because Gage just show-stopped us right there. Moves in, a beautiful first kill from him, and then 2 more instantly found by OpTic as well. Already North are down to just 2. That's a great push from AZ there to be able to find a trade on Yugi, but he wasn't able to scavenge the op from it, so he's still stuck at range with the CZ, but good utility usage right now is keeping him alive. However, now he's going to be pushed by 2 at the same time, and that will finally lead to his death.
Valde, 1v4 with an op.
He might have just got seen by config there. Might have been shoulder peeked or something like that.
They could just flash clear it at this point. Like, he doesn't even need to go in dry, but he's just going to Nope, he's
oh
just
yeah,
gonna
he
walk
didn't
through.
see him then.
All right, this is interesting now. What will Valde do here? Will he try to limit the economy, or will he just try to straight up save?
The problem for him is he's still surrounded, so he can't really make any big moves here, and he's been spotted now. Anyway, misses the no-scope shot, so he goes down. No save, sadly.
Round number 15 is at hand. OpTic 1 round away from taking North's map pick. Here at DreamHack Summer in the semi-finals, the Danish grudge match. Who's second in the land? That is pretty close to where we are right now. Not too far away.
Very, very competitive half overall at the beginning of this match, but when we got into the second half, it was really OpTic that took control on the T side and showed that they had the better stuff. And in these last couple of rounds, Gade specifically really showing up with the entry power, especially the beginning of that last round there with that kill he got inside of Mexico Pit. So some good individual play from OpTic. May have been what was needed to push them over the edge and take control here. As now they sit just 1 round away, and obviously look at the buy from North. It's awful.
Mertz is a scout. We saw what he could do yesterday, especially on Dust 2 and Kirby. C-set. Gate too slow to react, but he will get the double in the end, so 2-for-2 trade.
Great control from Kirby, though, especially as he stopped firing there to just lock onto that last shot that he needed to take his second kill out. So very good stuff from him. And now OpTic are going to be a little bit scared here, but the slow play thankfully works out because it does look like North got a little bit impatient. Valde specifically gets caught walking outside of the T ramp. And now OpTic get their man advantage back, but it's a delicate one considering Gade's HP.
Cajun. A legend in Danish Counter-Strike. One of the best players we had in Source and transitioned very well to CSGO. AZ misses his chance, goes for another one, but so much damage being dealt, but not enough. Gade with a 3K this round. Gade. Yes, against C-sets and a scout, but still impressive.
He's another about 20 HP from that fight, but I think he's relatively secured now as long as he gets out for the explosion in time. MSL, looks like he's just going to throw himself at it, though. Yeah, sadly, there's no other choice left.
All the utility. Another Molotov will go down.
He knows how futile it is as well. He's like, come on, someone give me something that I can use to get into this site. The Molly's good at least, but I think, no, it does force him out. He takes the duel anyway. Cage and B will shut it down as OpTic are going to take control of map number 1 of the series. 16-11 will be the final score, and of course, they'll go 1-0. 1 more step closer to the grand finals, and now 1 more map away from it if they can take control of our next map on Mirage.
Very nicely done. Config and the boys, Snappy smiling, and they will get that first map victory over North. North, time to go back to the drawing board. They're going to go on Mirage now. This is where I'm really excited to see what happens, because I thought this was going to be very close, but slightly edged to North. OpTic, they surprised, they take it, and now they have the upper hand in this battle.
Yeah, specifically in the second half, like I was saying before, is where OpTic really moved in, really took control, and showed that individual skill. And in the last 3 to 4 rounds, it was Gade that was clearly the MVP of the situation, finding so many impact kills, whether it was the first frag of the round, the CT's trying to get aggressive and countering it out from inside a pit, or the entries on the A side. He was just unstoppable there and really did a great job to push it over the edge. Guys, the second map is coming up in just a few minutes. Stick with us, and we'll be right back with more action here live from DreamHack Summer.